The Chevy Camaro was introduced back in 1966, battling Ford Mustang for over 50 years. Yeah, there was a hiccup between 2002 and 2010, but we didn't receive a Camaro. This model is off of the generation introduced in 2016, the Chevy Performance, and today, Ben from Regal Chevrolet has given us the 2022 Chevrolet Camaro 2SS in your wild cherry. Competitors like your Dodge Challenger RT Scat Pack, the new Ford Mach 1 that replaced the GT350, which is going to be more of a performance, a quicker drive. You're going to still receive that quality interior, the updated tech. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and we're going to go over all the specs and details, starting now. Chevy Camaro will be discontinued by 2024, which means we may not receive a refresh, but more than likely we'll have a farewell model, as Chevy will be going to a four-door sedan. It's going to be powered with electric going forward. The excellent performance styling begins on the performance hood, and you got the black stripe, and I like the setup that we have because everything just goes incorporating into that sleek grille. You got the gloss black in between with the SS badging. Everything's functional, and it keeps that American traditional muscle car heritage, which is what known for with the Camaro. You're going to get your LED headlamps and daytime running. The black gloss is going to go into the lower trim as well. You're going to have a little bit of a golf ball texture here on the lower spoiler. Functional side curtains, and it's going to sit low and wide at 74.7 inches and a height at 52.6 inches. All those aerodynamic lines flare out these fenders surrounding these 20-inch SS 5 split spoke satin black wheels. Behind it, you're going to get the Camaro badging covering these Brembo brakes. All four corners, 4 pistons. The disc is going to be larger at 13.6 inches. This is going to push the limits of performance and styling. Magnetic ride control technology can change the damping in just 10 to 15 milliseconds. This is off the Alpha platform, which comes from the discontinued Cadillac ATS. If you're going to be comparing this to the Challenger RT Scat Pack or the Ford Mach 1, I think this one has more of a traditional American styling, especially for the performance heritage and all the line structures that encase it, with the length at 188.3 inches, a wheelbase at 110.7 inches. You could raise or lower the top, going up to speeds of 30 miles per hour, and it goes pretty much in just a few seconds. But you know, because this is a convertible and we're in the state of Florida, even when it's not so hot, you're still gonna have the top down so you can enjoy the ride. And I like how the aerodynamic lines stay on track with your rear spoiler, an aggressive rear bumper, rear camera, and rear parking sensors. You're gonna have a large dual stainless steel exhaust outlets. It's not gonna have any diffuser here. I feel that the Mach 1 will be a more performance styling for the rear. It's going to be right on point with the Challenger RT Scat Pack. LED tail lamps, and I do like how the black comes down, and I like how everything is incorporated. It is clean. There's no paint finish here. That's the only thing, because it's not necessarily an eyesore, but they do a good job with the hidden camera right here. Going inside to your cargo, it's going to be a little bit smaller than the 3 at 7.7 cubic feet. There is some storage underneath the floor, but at the end of the day, this is a convertible. You're not really looking for a lot of storage in the trunk because you got the back seats. Let's go inside this V8, start it up, and hear that exhaust note. As the American muscle car comes to an end, this and the competition will be missed, but at least for the next couple of years, we can enjoy that. And Chevrolet backs the performance with a 6.2-liter V8 producing 455 horsepower and 455 pound-feet of torque. The strut tower brace increases strut tower lateral stiffness up to 47% and enhances the chassis stiffness. More direct steering response will be the result. That's paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission, achieving 16 to 26 mpgs, a 0 to 60 around 4.3 seconds, which is the same as the Ford Mustang Mach 1. It's about a tenth of a second slower than the Dodge Challenger RT Scat Pack. But at the end of the day, these are American muscle cars, and one day they will be classics because we are going to the electric world. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2022 Chevrolet Camaro 2SS. As we go into the interior, go over the tech, and take this for our test run. Entering inside the Chevy Camaro 2SS, it's a little low to the ground for tall people, but it's an American muscle car. Headroom, 38.4 inches. Legroom, 43.9 inches. I've moved the seats and adjust them so I can sit in the back, which you'll see in a second, how it's a little bit cramped for me. These are leather bucket front seats in your jet black, 8-way power adjustment for the driver, 6-way power adjustment for the passenger, ventilated, heated with the SS badging, gray contrast with stitch work. So I do like that we're getting some performance on these seats because it really does feel very sporty inside. You sit pretty low, so the hood is almost where my chin is. So I do like the fact that I feel like I'm ready to race, and that's what you want when you get this. It's a flat dash, more performance oriented on the driver's side, which makes it even more pleasurable. 8-inch diagonal HD color touchscreen. We have navigation. Because this is in demo mode, you can't do it. You have the ambient lighting, which you can configure a lot of different lightings, as you can see. You also have your dual climate control that you can do through there as well. Click over, you have your wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, which are Sirius XM, FM, AM, Bluetooth connectivity. Switch it to reverse. You're going to have full trajectory for that reverse camera. And we also have a digital rear view mirror. So you're pretty much taken care of. You don't really have to worry too much for blind spots because we got the blind spot monitoring as well. So I do like the setup that we have. You got the Camaro badging on that gear lever. You got the leather around it. You got the metal look around it, and your modes to change. So you can change from sport ice to track to sport to tour, which makes it even more aggressive. Cup holders can easily fit a 16.9 ounce water bottle. I would say a 20 is max. Open up in here and you got 2 USB ports and a little bit of storage. Elbows is going to be a little bit more firm and sporty, but that's what you're expecting. There's not necessarily a lot of buttons, and I do like how the button structure setup is. Circular air vents in the center and on the sides. Leather wrapped steering wheel, perforated flat bottom, heated, multi-function with the paddle shifters. The gauge cluster can be kind of sort of configured, so you can go into your preference, you can do your audio, your navigation, your phone, and you can go into your options. You also have your launch control. As for the way you sit, it's going to be super aggressive, so it's going to be a little bit more tighter, even though it's a little bit more wider on the exterior. Door panel, hard and soft material mix. You're going to get your memory seats for the driver, one touch up and down. And the thing I like about this is you click it to the rear and it'll roll down the rear. You click it over to the front and it'll roll down the front. So they're cleaning up the buttons, which is the same thing that Volkswagen is doing. Storage is going to be a little tight, but you do have Bose upgraded sound system. It's only a 7-speaker because we have the convertible. If you had the coupe, it would be a 9-speaker, but it's a give and take at the end of the day, and I like convertible. I'm going to put that top down. We're going to see how I look in the back. Sitting into the back with the top down, I don't have any issues. Otherwise, headroom is going to be a little bit tight. Leg room, as you can see, I had to move the seats up on both sides, and it's going to be tight on all perimeters. And you sit kind of inside more because of the way the rear is. So you would probably put your arm up here. Because I'm tall, it's okay. However, I'm going to be receiving a lot of air hitting my face because I'm almost as tall as the front windscreen. Charging pad right here in the rear, which is great for the back seat. It's going to be a little bit abnormal for the front seat, but I like the fact that we still have that functionality. Taking the 2022 Chevy Camaro 2SS out on our test run. 455 horsepower, so it is going to be the less of the three if you're comparing it to the Mach 1 at 480 horsepower or the Dodge Challenger RT Scat Pack at 485. That one would be the most, but the 0 to 60 is not necessarily that bad for, I mean, what you're getting. You're getting 4.3 seconds, so it is pretty good with that. I do like the heads-up display. It does make it easy to see, and the windscreen is going to be a little bit smaller and sleek, but I do like the feel that I'm getting. I am sitting up a little bit more just so that way I can actually feel how it would be if somebody was in the rear. We will put the top down so we can see how the sound dampening is in the interior. So far, you can definitely hear that V8 engine, which I do like that as well. As for looking around, it does feel wide on the exterior. As for the inside, it does not. It feels pretty good. You actually feel cocooned and pushed inward, so it does feel a little bit more, I guess, personal, which is a nice touch, an attribute that they give to this particular car, because whenever you get into a Mustang, it does feel a little bit wider. Whenever you get into a Dodge Challenger, it's the same aspect. Here, it's wide on the exterior, but in the inside, it's going to be more sleek. As for seat comfort, it does feel good. It doesn't feel like I'm riding on the concrete or asphalt. It feels pretty smooth with the leather wrapped seats. You do sit low though, so it is something to take into consideration, and anytime you press the throttle, the thing is going to scream. We're going to just drive it like you would normally drive it at the beginning. I mean, really around 2 RPM, you hear the exhaust and you hear it pretty much throughout. The nice thing though is if you need to give it some gas, look, just, and it's ready to rock and roll. The vehicle just will go at any given time, and I like the fact that you've got that performance behind it. Now we're going to check the braking and Brembo brakes. You shouldn't have any trouble at all with 4-piston brake calipers. As for the turn radius, this is going to be kind of right about the same length, more or less. Not too much of a difference between the three, but you're getting about 2 lanes. Now we're going to give it some go. Oh, wow, yeah. She rock and rolls. Oh, yeah, and she screams, which is exactly what you want. You want a nice note, and this gives that American muscle car heritage, and it does a phenomenal job. I really do like the way it sets, and you do feel very performance oriented in it, and I like the fact that, you know, you have that behind it that you could just give it a little go. 455 pound-feet of torque. It's going to be more than the Mach 1, so I do like that attribute. It's going to be a little bit less than the Dodge Challenger, but a tenth of a second, you're not going to really notice much. You're going to hear a little bit of wheel noise, but for the most part, you're going to be hearing the exhaust with the top up. So what we're going to do, pull over, put the top down, and see how this baby rides. I'm at a red light, putting the top down, so hopefully we can do it in time. The nice thing is you can go up to 30 miles per hour while you're moving that top. So you see, actually does work seamless. I'm gonna put these front windows up because it's gonna be obviously too loud to really do any type of review. I know it's gonna filter out some of the sound, but I really just wanna hear that exhaust, and there she goes. Oh yeah. Now, one thing also that I'm gonna probably say more so later on is that digital rear view mirror. It's really up close and personal with it on, I mean, I kind of like it without it, to be quite frank. It's a little bit easier, especially if you do have people in the back seat. Now what I would like to do is I'm gonna adjust the seat the way I would probably sit in the vehicle normally, so that way you can really get a feel. I'm gonna turn that digital display on for that rear view. Now it's not so bad. So if you do fit more than, you know, the 2 people in the front, it's gonna be a little bit tough because you're gonna pretty much see, and it kind of glares because it gives a mirror and all in between. So I don't necessarily like that, but the raw performance is what you're getting, and you can drive this every day. I can see people doing that without any issues. Now there is 3 things I like and 3 things that I dislike, because anything more than that, I'd be buying this vehicle. The 3 things that I like, this is one of them. Performance that you get out of a muscle car. It is definitely something, especially out of a V8. I'm gonna try to go a little slow here, downshift, and here we go, guys. Oh yeah, rock and roll. It's ready to do it. The second thing that I like about the vehicle is how performance oriented I feel inside. I felt the same way in the Mach 1. I didn't necessarily feel as performance driven in the Scat Pack. I did with the exhaust note though, and I actually like that blend the best from the muscle cars because it's just a perfect 485 horsepower. You don't need anything more than that. The last thing that I like about the vehicle is the heads-up display and the technology that you get. The heads-up display, the reason why is it's enormous, and it actually helps me know where my front bumper is, because you don't really know about that spoiler, and that gives you a good indication so you don't have to worry about hitting anything. This is what you're gonna be doing normally, is just giving it about 2-3 RPM. Three things that I dislike about the vehicle is the rear seats. There's really no purpose. It would be best that they just give you optimal cargo space. The second thing is that digital rear view camera. It is, or the mirror, I should say, the digital rear view mirror. It's just too in your face, and when the sun hits it, because the top's down, it really just becomes a mirror, so it's a little bit too much for me. And the last thing that I dislike is the steering wheel. You can only move it up and down. You can't push it forward in this trim, and that's something that I dislike, because in the seat settings, the way I'm sitting, it would be nice if I could push it forward a little bit more, so that way I can actually sit back a little bit more, enjoy more of a ride in the vehicle. But as for the comfort on a long journey, I could see somebody doing it, not having any issues. You could play with the exhaust, just give it some gas here and there, so you have all the fun capabilities. As for going over harder terrain, it's pretty smooth, it soaks it up. The suspension really does do a good job with that, and the way you sit in it, like I was saying before, you're not actually gliding against the asphalt, you're just driving with comfort. The elbow area is gonna be a little bit more sporty. You're not gonna get tired though, because you're gonna be putting your hands on the steering wheel, maybe playing with the paddle shifters. So those are a couple of things that you probably will be doing. As for the visibility in the front, you sit low, like I've been saying the whole review. So SUVs, vans, trucks, whatnot are gonna be taller, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. This is a sports car with a convertible. Just enjoy the drive. When you go slower, it's not gonna soak up those bumps as much as you've noticed. Fortunately, you can't do too much, but we're gonna give it a little go here, just to show you that raw performance and to show you the Brembo brake performance on both sides of the corner. Now, I would not compare this to the Hellcat, because price point is going to be extremely different, and I'm sure in the comments people will say, well, yeah, you can. You really can't, because you can almost buy two of these for what the price is going for Hellcats right now. So for the blend of what you get, it's a great mixture, everyday fun. If you drive it under a 1500 RPM, you're not gonna hear that exhaust, you're gonna hear some wind, but for the most part, it's pretty pleasurable, comfortable, and again, liven it up, just give it that gas. You pass anybody that's gonna pass you, because this is a very fast muscle car. I'd like to thank Ben here at Regal Chevrolet for giving us this 2022 Chevrolet Camaro 2SS for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, click that subscribe button, check out the details, the merchandise, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Rides. And we're gonna take that as a cut, take this back to the dealership. It was a fun ride, guys.